Okay, welcome to the New Moon Chat. This is the Virgo moon, September 9th. And on the call, we have Kimberly Tyler. I'll let everybody introduce themselves.
This is Anna Moni or Monique. Either or.
And Kathy Marie Howe from Kentucky.
Yeah, so now we're into the new moon. It started at 2:02 p.m. Eastern time. So we're definitely into it, and we have until 2 o'clock tomorrow to do any of our serious work. And as with all new moons, we do the really kind of keep it more of a light, meditative, contemplative time. And this new moon, we have chosen emotional healing as kind of the undertone, but really what we wanted to focus on was magic mirror work. So we're going to see how those kind of correlate together. And I'll start like we do normally with our new moon chats, and that's some of the system of correspondences to go through. And it's combining the Virgo energy along with emotional healing. And then, of course, a mirror is going to be one of our system of correspondences. But it's combining the other two together is where some of these items will come into play. So the gemstone is bloodstone. And the planet is the moon, and it's also Mercury. So good for our communication, even within ourselves. The essential oil is lemon, and so is the herb, essential oil, incense, all of this together. So lemon is the primary one. A couple of other really good ones would be sandalwood. Myrrh is also a really good one too. Full moon is actually the best time. So as we continue work, we could do this work throughout this entire month and utilize the full moon to really activate everything that we set into motion here during the new moon time.
I like that.
And yeah, I'm excited of what we can make happen in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So a cool thing that I pulled up for plant seeds, I kept trying to find like the best plant seed to correlate with this. And honestly, the best one is not really a plant seed, but it is a plant itself. Well, actually, it's technically not, but it is mushrooms. There is nothing better to connect with this than mushrooms.
Interesting.
And I do really mean, I do mean psychedelic. However, yeah. I know that's not for everyone involved, but I think that was going to be like a really cool addition, something we've never really talked about before, because that would kind of fall into the food as well, but it is about other foods too, of course, lemons, and then oranges make a really good option too. But our element is both earth and water, and I think one thing with Virgo, they kind of flow together really well. With emotional healing is really more water-based, and Virgo is really an earth element. But
Kathleen?
Oh, hey, Kathleen. Welcome.
Hey guys. I hope I haven't missed too much. I just saw your message.
No, I'm so glad you joined us. No, this is perfect. Yes, we were having so many technical difficulties, and then finally decided this is one way at least we can move forward instead of scratching our heads trying to figure out technology. So thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And then we'll take this once we complete this chat. Once we complete it, then we'll upload it. So you missed very little that we've started so far. We just started.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Okay, so the element, the earth and the water element, I think it's really interesting with Virgo because, Virgo is an earth element. And Monique, I know, and I hope you'll talk more about this in a little bit. but the Virgo is an actual earth element, yet it always seems to confuse people that aren't Virgos or not really tapped into it that well, because it's always shown as a water bearer. So there is that water element to it that it works really well together. However, water itself is connected with emotional healing, just to keep things moving through, to keep things flowing, not to hold on to items.
Yeah.
And I only have a couple more of the system of correspondence. The best days during all of this energy work for this entire month will be Sundays. Those will be our best days to do our really serious focus work. Our animal is an eagle, and then the color is blue, preferably darker blue and indigo color, so some of the darker hues. And then I did do like one little mantra for just to kind of springboard us into our serious topics. And it is: one day at a time is enough. Forget looking back, forget grief. I live in the present and make it beautiful.
Nice. Will you repeat that again and go just a teeny bit slower?
Sure. One day at a time is enough. Forget looking back. Forget grief. I live in the present and make it beautiful.
Awesome.
Now, this is Monique's time. This is Miss Virgo herself. And like the picture of Virgo to me. I mean, yes, because maybe I've known you for a while, but in every way you just exude Virgo energy. So
my moon is also in Virgo, and so I think that double also kind of helps.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's a lot of it is about analytical mind, which I find interesting because, you know, it is the zodiac sign of the human female with an analytical mind.
Love it.
And I think it's for me, I feel like I have the ability to see the attention to detail and the larger picture. Obviously, it's kind of impossible to do both at the same time, but, you know, being able to use the third-person perspective, I think, and that kind of, you know, deals with the mirror work, I guess, where you're looking at another angle of a story and taking everything into account. That's been, as far as, like, my Virgo weakness, like, because usually when I see those things, it like can create a meltdown because I can't control the whole situation. But if I can like just gain patience and just, you know, do what I can, it becomes like a gift. I just have to like not be emotionally attached. So, but to be, you know, see what I want to happen, but don't try to control how it's supposed to take place, kind of thing.
So part of that flowing.
Yes, absolutely. And that's the water, right?
Right. Okay. Do you know the history of that? Do you know why Virgo is an earth sign, but yet still connected with water?
No.
I don't either, yeah. Anybody else know that?
No. That's a good question, though.
This is interesting.
Yeah,
I was just going to say, because I'm also a Virgo in the sun and moon.
Wow.
I'm a Libra. I think Libra is my rising, but yeah, I just had my birthday on Friday, and
happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Thank you. This is my month.
That's
my jam.
Nice.
But I'm really listening to everything you guys are saying because I'm just like as as much as I love this time of year and this month, I'm just really raw, like emotionally. And I don't know if that has anything to do with, like, I think I think Virgos are, I really related to what you were saying earlier about, that having the analytical mind and being able to, like, see the big picture and the details at the same time. It's a weird thing to be able to do.
Yeah.
It's so much in my life is about trying to create, like, a graceful way of being. And at the same time, I have a lot. I didn't realize it until I took some personality assessment this past week. Like, I'm also really judgmental. And it's, like, not, like, with other people, with myself, like, and I think sometimes, like, my stepdaughter is just, like, I could be really, like, just not just always kind of nitpicking about little things, like, just because I want them to be kind.
You want the best for them, yet.
Yeah, I want them to understand how the world works. I want them to understand how to be of service and, different things. But I often really, like, hold back because I don't, like, right now it's Rosh Hashanah for them. They just went off to this Rosh Hashanah service. So it's a new year, for them. And I want to celebrate, with them. I'm not Jewish myself, but I think it's I don't know why I'm saying this, but it feels hard to be a Virgo. Do you guys like? It's hard. Like, it feels like a lot of responsibility.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do you feel that too, Mo?
Yes, because being able to, it's kind of like having the ability to see a train wreck happening in slow motion and not being able to stop it. Like, you can see things from a mile away, and you'd have to just, like, work in smaller increments, kind of. I would call it a superhero complex, probably, because I think it's, like, accessing, like, the higher mind, I guess, because you go from analytics, then, the thought process can speed up. And being grounded as an earth sign is, I think that's why it feels like it goes in slow motion, because the Virgo sign is so rooted in the earth, with routine and, like, building paths and having clear-cut direction. And when you don't have the ability to control reality in that way, it is painful it's a painful ego death process, kind of. Like, you have to just let go, even though usually you end up being right in the end.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it makes sense that the eagle is the animal for this, because you do see that huge, broad picture from far away, but you can hone in on the little mouse down on the ground or whatever. I was wondering why that kept coming up, and I really didn't have an answer for that, but we just answered it.
Yeah. I love it.
That makes sense.
So
using this analytical mind, okay, so for emotional healing, we're talking, and we're going to get into the mirror work in just a minute, but really that was kind of the connecting mirror work with an intention. That was the most logical one to connect it with. And it is, so many people are going through this really emotional hill right now, I guess, because it's feeling like very hard and heavy to pull these feelings through. And we've heard this from many people recently, and actually someone didn't make our call because of that. They just can't go there right now. They've had such a really hard week. They were doing some own self-love and didn't want to, I guess, pull this up again. And Virgos I guess what I'm getting at is being so analytical and understanding from different perspectives so well, because Virgos really are the adult of the entire zodiac signs, of all of them. They are considered the adults.
Mm-hmm.
So, as the adult of this, what aspect of emotional healing can you tap into?
Kim, it cut out for me for just half a second during the middle of your question.
What aspect of your analytical mind, of Virgo traits, are the logical ones to tap into for this emotional healing and advice to others during this tumultuous time?
Do you mind if I jump in?
Please.
Do it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, for some reason, like, mother came to my head first thing, like sort of like the archetype of, I think Virgo's, it's like the virgin. There's something pure about it, but there's something pure about, a mother's love. But I think that, for ourselves, like to treat ourselves with that kind of mother's love. Like, I know we talk probably a lot about self-care and everything like that, but from an adult perspective, like if you see a child suffering emotionally, it's like, what does a mother say, literally to assuage their anxiety, and it's reminding them of giving them perspective, that this is painful right now, but this is growth, this is also like, this is time for growth, or, this is, what can you do to take care of yourself? And like, maybe you just need to have like a sandwich and a nap, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So much is born out of that whole, like, the acronym HALT, the hungry, angry, lonely, tired. And, it almost, I definitely don't think we need that father energy of like, we're already hard, working so hard. It feels more like a nurturing. So that's what came for me.
Yeah, I like that. Almost like being of service too.
Yeah.
I think early on for me, I had to come to accepting the understanding that there is no such thing as perfect, and because it was always something that I was like trying to create, and it was always like just out of my reach, and it was really like when I realized that, it kind of gave me permission to shift gears, and freed up a lot of mental energy for me. And so kind of applying that same idea in heated, triggered discussions, if there's an awareness of like that the other person may be right, being able to be just simply say, oh yeah, that's right, you're right, I was wrong, immediately makes you right by saying I was wrong. I know it sounds simple, but that was something, it was a process for me to tame that competitive nature, which I think is inherent in Virgo, wanting to be at the top of the list and all that kind of thing, the perfectionism. So, just letting that go and using the energy to focus on other things that can be, controlled. Like I can control myself. So I can be happy and, make the right decisions. And keep things focused on positive kind of thing. So that's a lifelong lesson for me, I would say.
I love that. Yeah.
And actually, part of that I found out recently was Aries. I have a whole bunch of my Vesta, and I think even Chiron, and one more, an asteroid were in Aries, and that's like, anger and fiery personality. Like, I was like, oh, that's why I talk with my hands.
It's been really beneficial. We've been doing this since Aries, so since April or the end of March, whatever the new moon fell on. I don't remember exactly now, but we've had this focus of the zodiac signs and learning from them each month and connecting them with an intention, and it's been really helpful. I've enjoyed every single one of them and learned so much more, diving a little deeper, even though I think I know about the zodiac, but it's that living it for a month and really thinking about it for a month has been extremely beneficial in growth and healing.
I agree.
And I'm looking forward to this one too. This one's one that I really I was thinking about this last night, about how will I use Virgo energy for this next month? What am I going to do? What I sat down and just made this meticulous little list, so neat and precise little list, that I wanted to do. And I thought, wow, I'm off to a good start already, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it's all about, right?
Totally.
That's great.
Yeah. Very organized. Yeah, organized and structured, and
Yeah.
All right, now, emotional healing and magic mirror work. This is going to be kind of a fun topic, because let's just start with this. I know that I know that Monique has, and we've talked about on one other call about working with mirrors. But has anyone else, Kathy, Kathleen, have you guys worked with mirrors?
No, maybe not to the extent that you have.
No, I haven't at all. Yeah.
The most simplistic thing to do is just talk to yourself in a mirror. That's pretty easy. That's kind of fun. No, actually, let me take that back. It's not always. It can be fun, but our point is for emotional healing and to really dive in and have a deep conversation with yourself, looking yourself in the eye and asking yourself your questions. So that was part of kind of the list that I was writing out, working on. This wasn't last night. This was yesterday during the day. Writing down this list that I wanted to focus on for this next month, and generating some questions and topics for me to focus on, to have a conversation with myself about. And a couple of them being lighter topics, maybe something for more empowerment, just to empower me to move in certain directions, but some of them being like really deeper topics that I might not want to talk to myself about. But Monique, have you done any mirror work lately?
Yes, because I actually have kind of, I call them my spinning plates, like like in a circus show where they have plates that are spinning. Mm-hmm. Like I've put energetic circuitry into some of my mirrors, and I kind of have them play off of each other. And many times at moon cycles, I'll just kind of re-infuse them, like I'm walking by and spinning the plate again. So they're kind of like always in use. I have a mirror that's a plate, like an old style perfume plate, like where the bottom of it is a mirror.
Right.
And I have these prisms that are like crystals that I put on the plate, and then the sun hits it and bounces rainbows into the room. So that's one of the magic mirrors. Like, it's like bringing the lucky charms, all the little Irish pots of gold into the room. Anyway.
How many mirrors do you have going?
Like 1, 2, 3, 4, like maybe 5, and then the plate, so 6. One of them moves. It's like it was in Brooke's room, my daughter's room. It was her mirror for like getting dressed and stuff, but I moved it into my room when she moved out. So, and I still have it now. Yeah.
And each of the 6 you use for different intentions?
I think no, I'm kind of using them all together right now. I think like they have different parts of like the energetic imprint that I'm working on, like the inhale and exhale, and moving through the intention mantra of like, I love you, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you. So I'm kind of using them to orchestrate like the emotional, I guess, energetics of the mantra. Like they have those words, each sentence on a different mirror kind of thing. So just like doing a big ho'oponopono.
All over. Is it in your room, or is it throughout the house?
Just in my room.
Okay.
Yeah, the mirrors are on the walls next, like each of the 4 walls has a mirror on it.
Gotcha.
It's kind of like a mirror room, actually. Maybe I should take a picture or something.
I was going to say, is that your office where your desk is? Is that
yes.
typically work, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I like having the mirrors in there because it's very activated. Kind of like I can use them when I want to focus on work, like just writing something on the mirror. Kind of works.
And what type of marker do you use for that?
Just a whiteboard marker, and it just wipes off super easy. I just buy a set and just go through them one at a time.
Okay, just regular whiteboard, not like is that a dry erase or wet erase?
Yeah, dry erase.
Whatever.
Dry erase, yeah.
Dry
erase, it's a great way to capture thoughts, because I don't know why, but every time I'm in the bathroom, I'm like having genius moments. No, not every time, but sometimes. It's nice to be able to just like take a pen out and just like write a note, big note to yourself, like feel like a broadcast system, like, hey, we want to get more information about this. Yeah.
That's where I keep my vision board, is on my bathroom mirror. And then I don't use the dry erase markers, but I have my whole mirror is it's outlined so I can stick things in it, and that's where I actually have like note cards, which that kind of seems weird too, but it is. I mean, I think that's a great place where we spend enough time in there, the shower, and give you a moment to think and really cleanse ourselves, and then from there, make that idea solid and write it down.
Mhm.
So a great place to start with any mirror work for those that are brand new to it would be writing out your intentions and then having those affirmations that go with them, and finding that time of day, whether it be brushing your teeth or, Kathy, like you said, like right out of the shower or like whatever, utilize that time to look yourself in the eye and do those affirmations, but then also use that time to talk with yourself about how you're gauging. I don't want to say gauging, because that's almost like that. I don't want to go back to that judgment thing of, judging yourself, Kathleen, when you were saying that. Not really a judgment, but how you want to enhance what's working and empower yourself to continue, or if you have to go deeper into some dark shadow work, then that's the perfect time to do it, to start with yourself, looking yourself in the eye, having those conversations.
That's great.
I think it's another thing too, is a lot of times you're, especially like when you're fresh out of the showers, you're kind of raw because you don't have your makeup on, and you get to see your real self. I posted on Facebook the other day because people talk about filters and, this younger generation, how much they're using these filters, and they're really not even looking at themselves even a little bit. Everything can be filtered. And being the fact that, I'm in my 50s, makeup was my filter, and I love it. But the older I'm getting, I actually tend to wear less makeup, and it's like, okay, I'm so much more comfortable with myself, and that's what I found, like getting out of the shower, and it's like, oh yeah, like this is me, and even though I may, would appreciate, when I look different when I was younger, I really appreciate what I look like now and feel like now, and I feel more like myself than I ever had before, if that makes sense.
Makes sense.
It does make sense, yeah. It feels really good, yeah. So yes, okay, so the bathroom mirror is obvious, especially for starting mirror work. I think this month would also be a really good time, to if you don't have another personal mirror, to find one, whether it just be, and this was something we talked about in another chat a long time ago, of finding one, whether it be an antique store or just out shopping, just make sure that you have a small mirror, something that speaks to you, that you can utilize in other areas of the home. And we don't talk about feng shui a lot, but I think that's would be a good time to start this conversation of where placement in the house of where these mirrors go. Mirrors are a really huge aspect of feng shui, and having where energy flows throughout your home is really important and really makes a big difference in how we feel, not only in our home but within our own skin sometimes. And utilizing that to find one, the perfect mirror that you want to use, and then finding the spot in your home you need it. That'll also tell us a lot about our emotional state of where we are. And I think that's a really good, let's say, step 2 for mirror work. Using the bathroom mirror as our first step, and then step 2, using it in a feng shui way.
I like that.
Every room in the home is a different room of our emotional state. So if we need more communication, if we want to enhance our communication skills, or if then it more than likely needs to be either in our office or our living room. If we need more passion or fire within self-love of ourselves or with our partners, then it definitely needs to be in the bedroom.
Oh, you need so wherever you feel like you need energy, put a mirror in that room. Is that what you're saying?
In that room, yes.
Well,
yeah.
That's a great idea. Okay.
And still talk to yourself in it. I mean, that's the whole thing about mirrors. It's more than just, oh, does my hair look good? What's my makeup look like? What do I look like? that we usually look around ourselves and not straight in the eye, and carry on conversations with ourselves in a mirror. I think that's really the big takeaway of magic mirror work. That does occur, because we can use the mirror for moving energies, and that's sort of more advanced mirror work. But when starting, that is the number one thing to start with, is connecting with yourself.
Mm-hmm. I think also having a documentation practice, so that, you know, when you're doing the work, you kind of write down the intention, the date, time, you know, kind of moon cycle information, and, you know, what you do when you're kind of in circle. Just to kind of view the pattern, and, you know, over time patterns may emerge, and deeper understanding can be had with that kind of record of the event, you know. Hello?
Hey, Mo, could you repeat that last part again? It cut out and I missed what you said.
Okay. All right. I said that documenting the process of, you know, the work that you do is really key. So having the date, the time, kind of the lunar cycle, the details of your intention, and then, you know, kind of seeing the pattern as you go along, you know, over time, more can emerge with that record of the events that you did.
Yes, I like that.
Mm-hmm. Because you can't remember all of it, and if you have it written down in your review, then you will remember, and then, you know, your understanding will expand.
It's so interesting. Oh, I was just going to throw in, like, just speaking about mirrors, like, one of the things that I have learned over the past few years, you know, like when someone dies in a Jewish family, and they have, you know, this week of Shiva where they, you know, sit together and mourn the loss. They cover all the mirrors in the home. That's a thing.
Why do they do that?
They cover
They cover all the mirrors. I think it has something to do with, like, this isn't about you or something, or it's like to look in. There's some superstition. I don't mean to call them superstition. That is incorrect. It's like there's just some. I'll have to look into that and tell you guys next time.
Yeah, I'm curious about that.
Yeah. But yeah, like, it's really important not to look, and that is, I had not thought about it too deeply before. So.
There's sometimes in Feng Shui that, you know, one of the solutions, you know, one of the fixes for something that's in a bad Feng Shui situation is just to put, like, a cover on it. And sometimes, you know, I had one mirror that if I put a cover over the mirror at certain times, like when it was like bedtime, then the space felt better. And in the daytime when it was sunny, then I would open it, kind of thing. So you can find solutions to fixes, I think is what they call them. I don't remember.
Oh, this is really interesting. So the Kabbalists give a more spooky reason, they say, for covering mirrors in the house of mourning. They write that all types of evil spirits and demons come to visit a family in mourning. When a soul leaves the world, it leaves a void, an emptiness that is prone to be filled by dark forces. This is because whenever there's a vacuum, negativity can creep in. And so the house of mourning, the place where the loss is felt the most, is a magnet for evil spirits. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, it goes on. They can't be
So
seen with the naked eye, but when you're looking in a mirror, you may catch a glimpse of their reflection in the background. And so we cover the mirrors in a house of mourning because we don't want to be alarmed by seeing these demonic visitors.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So would it be safe to say if you're feeling at a low point, would maybe that might be the time to cover your mirror for a little bit until you can kind of get grounded and rebalance? Yeah. And I think that would be that was an aha moment.
Especially with a magic mirror, because you've done when you've pushed energy into it or through it, using it, it's like a tool that, doesn't need to be active all the time. It's almost like putting the mirror covered is, the way to kind of turn it off, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So do you turn it off on a regular basis, Mo? Like, how do you, or is it because you're there pretty much by yourself? I know Brooke is staying with you now, but, is that something that you would do on a regular basis, or?
Not necessarily. I don't have anything covered right now. The work that I'm doing is very much about, just creating as large of a kind of energetic circuitry and flow as I can. But when I was doing shadow work, for sure, I did cover it often. Yes.
That's good to know. Okay.
And are there other? So I'm hearing the feng shui. To write out the intentions. The feng shui. Are there other exercises with the mirror that you might recommend to somebody new?
Well, something that Monique touched on is having the crystals on the mirror, using those to charge under the sun or the moon, both, like in the full moon, is a really good way to use the mirror as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
That's something that we've done. I've used the mirror too for any other new item that I'm incorporating into work that I'm doing, whether it be herbs or candles. I love burning candles on the mirror too. It really does help illuminate and intensify the energy.
You might want to clarify that. You put your mirror, you put your candle in a protected. You don't actually burn it on the mirror.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Well, yes. To be safe, I will say that. Yes.
Okay.
Of course, I've burned it on the mirror before.
Right.
And it looks really cool. But no, to be safe. But in a container on the mirror. But with that said, even now in my fireplace and on another location where I have a lot of candles, they're all sitting on a mirror. And those mirrors have been charged just for that. There's a reason that they're there. Yes, it illuminates the light, but yes, it means something, and that is for that to keep that reflection. Because most aspects of my house has a significant meaning. Some of this energy work that I've been doing forever and ever. Most area is covered with an intention at some point.
Mhm.
Some are a little stronger than others. Some I still enhance once in a while. Some just kind of sit back and need more time or education. But using it for decor, because it really is, it's beautiful when you have candles on there and crystals. Yeah, it really is pretty to do that, but do it with intention.
I think that sounds good.
Mhm.
So Kathleen, would it be helpful to make a list of a few items to include with mirror work, and then kind of guidance of throughout the rest of this month how to start utilizing it?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds perfect. Get it, I'll be able to, do some writing. I realize that some of the places that I spend the most time in my house, I just started walking around my house, don't have mirrors.
Yeah.
So that's something that I'd like to incorporate, and maybe it's just but like what you were just saying, having a mirror tray that I could put, the crystals and the, candle kind of thing. And I love the idea about the, having the dry erase markers, to write on the, just write the intention on the mirror, so I see that first thing in the morning. It was funny because I was at a 12-step meeting this morning, and someone was just talking about how they write on their mirror, which is funny that we're talking about it tonight, that to go to a meeting, every day. And so I love that. So the discussing, do the writing, and then do the intent. I mean the affirmation work, and then use and then the mirrors and the crystal, incorporate that with that. It sounds like a fantastic, way to focus this month.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. Anything else we want to cover? I know we got such a late start.
Well, I do, the oracle cards and different things. And at the new moon, I typically draw for me personally, but also draw for our group. And
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, it was last month was contact, and so I'll read what it says. It says the energy of contact allows you to feel that all doors of your inner source will be open when you surrender, and like water, go with the flow. Let your strength lead you, and you will find your own way. So that was last month. And so this month, I drew communication. And the energy of communication makes you aware that you are able to communicate with your body. There is understanding, its signal, and solving its discomfort. This energy brings your body and spirit in a deeper contact with each other. So I think that's something that we've been working on for a long time, I love getting like Kathleen, what you said just a second ago about talking about the mirrors and the affirmations and everything this morning, and then again tonight. But here it is again with the communication and the contact and just bringing it all together. I think is we just constantly get these signs and signals, whether we recognize them or not. But the more we pay attention, the more they stand out. And I love that. I personally think that is the coolest thing ever.
The more we're connected to that universal flow.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. and it was interesting on the day of my birthday. I was like looking at my horoscope, and the card for my birthday was Hermit, and it was describing it as basically I need to sit down and reflect and set intentions and all the stuff that we were talking about tonight. And it was interesting because the day of my birthday, like I couldn't get my ass in a chair, like, you know what I mean? Like I couldn't, like I just had this really nervous energy. And so I'm seeing like where when I'm busy, often, without intention, it's usually like me avoiding myself. And I've been doing a lot of that lately, and it doesn't feel good. Like literally, like I know part of it is a little chemical because I got off antidepressants a few months ago. Like I don't always feel very good. Like I feel really bad. Like last night I felt really bad, and so I was like committed to just doing yoga and being really like kind to myself today, and it worked, and then being on this call, of course, it's like it calms down whatever
like
that kind of negative
taking
energy.
those steps.
It's just kind of trying to get back, like out of my ego and into that flow that you guys were talking about.
I think all of us have times where we're in it and we're out of it, and I think it's just about realizing when we're not in the correct frequency and just switching over. Like that's like I think the balance of like that Virgo balance. Like, oh, it's okay that I was not perfect. I can just I don't have to be upset about it. Just like smooth transition.
Right, just transition.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And incorporating some of this into daily routine, so at least every day you're focused on an aspect of it, and not letting it go.
Yeah, I think that's great. And we can post about this in this vault too. What we've done in the past. Maybe we can take a picture of our mirrors and post in there along with maybe a little blurb about this month or whatever. I think that would be nice to say.
That would be great, yeah. That would be great. Okay, yeah, and I'll put together a little, I don't say a checklist, but just some bullet points of a few ways to utilize the mirror, and everybody be thinking about questions we want to ask ourselves, things we want to say to ourselves as we're looking into the mirror.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah. Thank you so much. This has really been helpful.
You're welcome. And still want to do a full moon physical gathering, and utilizing mirrors. So,
so when is the full moon? Do you even know off the top of your head?
I don't have the, yes, if you give me a second, off the top of my head, no, I don't know.
Okay.
But around 2 weeks from now, that I know. Right. It is the 24th is a Monday. So either Sunday night or Monday night would be a really good time to consider that. I think Sunday night might be it. But I don't know. We'll see. Actually, Monday would be better because it's late in the evening. The height of the full moon is late in the evening. But I would like to put something together for a full moon event too. I think it'll be a beneficial to find some mirrors for everybody to utilize.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Or at that point, if it's been doing the work for, at that point, for 2 weeks, then, bring the mirror that you're working on. But
Nice. I like
if
it.
it's small enough to carry.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Okay, well, good. I'm glad we got this phone call. I appreciate, Kathy, you pulling the phone aspect together, and Monique and I will continue to work on how to make this chat work.
Awesome.
Our technical difficulties will hopefully disappear by next month.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, so I'll text you the number, and the replay number, and then we'll just keep it active as long as we can, because when I have another call, it'll get recorded over. So just stress to people just to say, if you do want to listen to this, do it sooner than later. But I do think that we have a lot of great information, and if you can share, the things we talked about in addition to the replay phone call, and then that'll be a great tool for people.
Perfect. All right. Well,
thank you, Kathy.
everyone, happy new moon.
Happy
new
moon.
moon.
So much. Okay.
Hey, bye.
Talk next time. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.